I think we saw this coming. What's going on, guys? Welcome into Clutch B-Ball TV. I hope you guys had an amazing day or night, or you guys are having an amazing day or night. And today, I'm going to be talking about the trade that went down last night, and that is John Wall for Russell Westbrook, and also a 2023 first-round pick, which is heading to Houston. And when I heard this trade, I was like, okay, we've seen the rumors. Like, we saw the rumors before this, but I didn't think it was actually going to happen. John Wall declined all of it. I didn't request a trade. The GM said we're not trading John Wall. But my initial thoughts were I feel bad for John Wall in the sense of he was really loyal to Washington, and he probably had enough of it. He wanted to somewhat compete, even though I don't think he's going to compete with Houston. But from the standpoint of he kind of turned that organization around. The Wizards have been a dumpster fire for a very long time, ever since he went there with the first overall pick out of Kentucky. They're a competitive basketball team. If it's drafting Jane Vesley, just not drafting the greatest of players, just a gun incident, like he went through a lot of adversity with the Washington Wizards, and he put his head down and got to work for sure. I've always respected John Wall, and I hope he has success with the Houston Rockets. I don't think they're going to be that much of a winning basketball team, but you're still going to be competitive with James Harden and maybe Christian Wood over there. Even though it is the Western Conference, if you have James Harden, you're still going to be competing for a playoff spot, but we don't know what John Wall's going to be coming back from his injury for sure. But I had a John Wall jersey. I'm a Knicks fan, but that's how much I love John Wall. I had a John Wall jersey when I was younger for sure. I really respected his game. Kind of is a similar game to Russell Westbrook. I think he's more under control, though, when he plays the game of basketball, especially down the stretch. But they're both good from mid-range territory, not great from downtown. They work downhill. They have great handles, can create for themselves. I'm just a big fan of both of their games, just the high intensity they play at. But I'm more of a fan of John Wall's game because he plays not reckless. He plays downhill, but also under control. He knows when to mellow it down and get control of the offense, if you know what I'm saying, like down the stretch when it matters most. But you look at the Washington Wizards, they have not been great in a very long time. Maybe they've had trouble selling tickets because there's Washington Wizards fans out there, but when you have Bradley Beal and that's it, and not a lot of great talent, like before they got Denny and Rui Hachimura, I bet it was hard to sell tickets because they've been a bad basketball team. And I think this was a business move and a win now mode move because they have Bradley Beal. And he's in his prime, out of Florida, just known as being this great shooter, coming around screens. He's gotten better off the dribble. He's a sneaky athlete as well. And their mindset was probably like, we're not going to waste this guy's prime. He averaged 30 points per game for us last year. We still didn't make the playoffs. He needs help. Yes, we brought in Denny Avdija. We did bring in Rui Hachimura from Gonzaga. But those guys are figuring out the NBA still. Denny Avdija, we don't know what he is out of Israel yet. I think he's going to be a plug-and-play guy. I don't think he's going to be anything special. I think he's going to be something very solid for the Washington Wizards. I like Rui Hachimura, a guy that made an impact right away coming into the NBA, was efficient. So we'll see what he does in his second year. But now bringing in a Russell Westbrook with a Bradley Beal. Like I said, this is a win-now move. I don't know if they think they're going to win a championship or compete for the championship. I think they just want to compete and go to the playoffs. I'm not sure what the owner, GM, and everyone in the organization's mindset is when it comes to this. But having a lineup of Thomas Bryant's going to be in that lineup. You have Bradley Beal. You have Russell Westbrook. You're going to have Denny Avdija, and you're going to have Rui Hachimura. That's not a championship team, but I think that team's going to be competitive in the Eastern Conference. If you have Russell Westbrook, you're going to be competitive. You're not going to win a championship, in my opinion, but you are going to be competitive. And I actually do think it's a solid fit when you think about it, because Bradley Beal's not a guy that's very ball dominant. He can move without the basketball. He's good at moving around screens, but he could also get his, and I don't think there's going to be any argument there. I think that's going to be a good fit, but I do think they'll probably get bounced in the first or second round. I don't think they're going to be a championship contending team, and I do have question marks. Well, they do also have Davis Bertans. I'm sorry, I left Davis Bertans out, who he's probably going to start over Denny Avdija. Maybe Denny Avdija is going to be a depth piece. They did give Bertans $80 million, something like that, but he's a good shooter. Hopefully that wasn't a fluke here. He shot very consistent from downtown. Just, gosh, when he played the Knicks, I was like, how did that man just make that? But yeah, the Wizards, they're in a win-now mode situation with Russell Westbrook. Should be very interesting. He's very ball dominant. I want to see Rui Hachimura thrive, but when you're a win-now basketball team, I guess they don't really think about that, especially when you bring in Russell Westbrook. You should expect his ball dominancy. You should expect him to take the last shot. But if he matures his game and gives the ball up to Bradley Beal at the end of the game, I have a lot of respect for that. It's going to be interesting to see how Scott Brooks really constructs his team, if he could handle these personalities or the personality of Russell Westbrook in that locker room. But we know Russell Westbrook plays 110%, and he's going to give it his all at the end of the day. Now you look at the Houston Rockets. They got that draft pick in exchange, a 2023 first-round pick, I believe it is. And if Harden's gone, they're blowing it up. They brought in Christian Wood. Yes, they have John Wall now. I think John Wall is going to play like with high intensity. I don't know what level he's going to be playing at coming off of that injury, but you still have James Harden there that they said that they're still going to rock with James Harden. They're not trying to trade him, but at the end of the day, it is a business. They're not going to come out and say what they're really going to do. But they're still going to be a competitive basketball team. They're not going to get a high lottery pick. At the worst, I think they'll probably get 8th, 9th seed, barely make the playoffs. But it all comes down to the health of John Wall. Can James Harden carry this whole team on his back without a John Wall and still go to the playoffs? In my opinion, that would be impressive. He's another guy. I don't think his style of play wins an NBA championship, but that would be very impressive. But let me know down below, what direction do you think the Houston Rockets are moving in? I thought they were going to rebuild. I really thought they were going to move on from James Harden, but now Westbrook's gone. Harden should be gone next, and I think they're finally going to construct the rebuild. And I remember I was saying to my friend, randomly, I was like, you know what team should blow it up? And you might call me crazy, the Houston Rockets. And we'll see what happens. Sure, with the Houston Rockets, I think the Wizards are in win now mode. I think this is good for both sides, because if you were going to like move on from Russell Westbrook, if you're going to move on from a John Wall, you have to take on another big time contract and a player of his stature for sure that plays at kind of an equally high level, or still at least was that type of high level. But we'll see what goes on to happen. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, yo.